Alright, what's up everybody? So right now we have these ingredients selected. We're gonna hit the brewer start button. This is what we have at the moment. And this is a new brewer design that I came up with. I know that auto brewers aren't in the cutting edge of the redstone meta nowadays, but I wasn't able to find a design where you could just hit the button, not need to interface with this, so take anything out, put in any water bottles, you know, anything like that. You could just select the ingredients, hit the button, and the potion would brew up, and it would enter the barrel as well. And I also wanted functionality where I could turn on this multi-brew mode, and when this multi-brew mode is on, I can keep brewing the same potion until this barrel fills up. And the second that it does, the multi-brew mode turns off. So you have to hit start again for it to re-trigger the brewing, if that makes sense. So even as you can see now, the brew is done, the potions are out. I can turn on multi-brew mode, nothing actually happens. But if I hit start, and as you can see, 3 potions in here, if I hit start, the brew will start up again, but that completes this circuit so that the system can re-trigger if multi-mode is on. So we'll leave it on right now. Let this finish up. And oh, one more thing. The only potion that the logic can't handle is the weakness potion. So here I just have an automatic weakness potion brewer. Yeah, just for weakness potions. But all the other potions start with nether wart, and so this can handle all of them. And so now this time around, because this will be the final brew, when this is done, this comparator will signal to this trapdoor, and then it will disable this, and we'll see that in action. This indicates that there are items still in the brewer above, and again, this is the last item, so when this is finished, the wart will fall in, this will turn off, and then the draining will begin. Drain, and now the system stays off because this filled up. So if I take these items out, the auto brew mode turns back on, but it doesn't re-trigger and doesn't automatically start brewing until I hit start. I can turn off multi-mode, select new ingredients, hit start, but as you can see, I opened this just to show you what was going on in here, but for the whole process, I could just not interact with the brew at all. I can just hit the right inputs and get my desired potions. So I'm going to try to break down how this works. So here's a little schematic. When we hit our start brew button, we're going to first dispense 3 bottles plus a wart. The 3 bottles plus the wart will start our first potion brew. The wart is going to be primed in the brewer already. Additionally, the hopper underneath the brewer has to be locked so the potions don't get taken out early. We also want to call ingredients with that button press. So those ingredients will be queued in the hoppers. There will be an item filter style hopper as the final hopper above the brewer, and this will be able to detect when the potion is finished, because when all the ingredients for the desired potion are done going through the brewer, the final ingredient will be the wart, and that will be the primer wart for the next cycle. When that primer wart falls into the brewer, the item filter style hopper will be able to detect that, and that will trigger a fader clock to unlock the hopper underneath the brewer. That will allow the potions to drain out. And then after the potions have drained out, we'll have that loop into, or we'll simulate another single brew button press if multi-mode is on, or if multi-mode is off, then we want to be able to disable that circuit. Additionally, if the barrel is full, we want to disable that circuit. So that is the logic. Let's get into it. Okay, so this is the bare bones setup. This is your ingredient line. You can use a multitude of different ways to set up that ingredient line. Like you can use this method, which I saw in an Etho video recently, but I found that this interface was a little bit more comfortable with the levers at the bottom as opposed to the buttons at the top, and this is kind of the standard design. So that's what we're going to have over here. For the purposes of this, I'm just going to block this and have a single dust line to make it easy to call ingredients later. But what we need is we need to prime the system with a wart. So we have our wart in our last slot, our active ingredients before that. And so what will happen when we call the ingredients is the golden carrot will come over, wait in here, and this wart will wait up here. And if you have redstone dust, gunpowder, those will all wait in order, right? And 3 water bottles will also get dispensed and into here, and that will start this brew. And while this first brew is going, that gives time for the other items to come into here and queue up here. So now I'm going to detect the ingredient detector or the system primer, and we'll be right back. All right, so this is the item detection module. So as you can see right now with 22 items in here, there's a signal strength of 1. The instant that we put in an extra item, there's a signal strength of 2, which extends this piston and primes it. So when this system turns off, so when it would be one ingredient, then the next, and the next, and the next, and the final ingredient would be the wort. When that comes out, this system turns off, or sorry, this piston retracts, which causes this observer to update the dust, and it will trigger our draining circuit. And so for our draining circuit, all we need here is a comparator fader clock into a repeater into here. And now when we call items over, so we call in the carrot, you know what, let's just get a button, right? So I click something there. So we called in the carrot, and you can see it's queued. The wort and all the other ingredients would be waiting up here. We have our primed wort, which this button activation would also spin our 3 bottles to start this brew. And then eventually the wort would be finished, then this would be finished, and then that would drain out. And so now, then this would, the wort would then fall in here. This would empty, which is detected, which allows our potions to drain out. This logic pretty much says drain, or let the brewer, unlock this hopper to let the brewer be drained out when the ingredients run out. Okay, I'm gonna work on the next component and be right back. All right, this is the self-refilling bottle module. So you need to put a bunch of glass bottles in here. I forgot a block right here. There we go. And now we're on. Okay, so this will always refill this dropper up to full. You put in an item here to start the activation. You read this, so every time you take this out, this turns off, turning this on, spitting out, powering on this block, which is butted by this activator rail. You can put a trapdoor, a note block, a powered rail, anything that will bud this dispenser right here. And I wanted this UI so that I could have the glass bottles and the blaze powder right next to each other in this sort of setup, right? It's kind of convenient and it looks good. Yeah, you can even put a trapdoor in there with a lever to, you know, decrease the footprint more. Okay, so this is the auto refill section. I figured for the next part I would also just show you what the hooking up of the inputs looks like. So here we have our multi-brew button, and we're gonna observe both of these, and I'm gonna build out the individual circuits and I'll be back. Okay, so this is the input circuit done. This is the ingredient calling half. The ingredient calling half just does this, so when we hit this, it turns us off. I haven't completed the torch tower or it would call ingredients. And we need this to go into here so we can get 2 reads upwards so that we can spit out and then take back an observer. So when we push this, it spits it out and then takes it back. The reason is because the lamp turning on and off are both detected. So that's 2, this is a 1 input to 2 output system, right? Really simply with the lamp. And then from here, we need a solid block against this dropper and an observer. And this observer will pretty much convert this 1, 2 into a 3 tick pulse into this dropper. So it'll spit out 3 bottles. So when we hit this, it'll go tick, 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 and spit out 3 bottles. So we'll take those out now because we don't want the brew to start. But it will do that, and then it will also call the ingredients if this circuit is complete here. Okay. Now we need to hook up the detection of ingredients running out to re-trigger this lamp, right? Because this lamp is kind of the central block where when it gets powered on and off, dropper gets triggered to shoot 3 bottles, the ingredients get called, everything. So this lamp is what we need to repower. So how we're going to do that is we're going to have a sticky piston right here. We're gonna have a full block here. We're gonna have an observer here. We are going to have a target block and a no block. And this is just to redirect this so that it can bud power that piston, and we'll put the note block right here. So it will bud update the piston. Importantly also, this block on part of the fader clock has to be a glass or a slab so it doesn't affect the redstone lamp. When the fader clock turns on, we can, for example, just turn it on right now, just as a demo. When it turns on, the piston sticks out, no signal. When it turns off, boom, then it triggers 3 again, and it'll recall the ingredients once more, right? And so how do we disable this system? It's by moving this block out of the way. So now let's hook that up. Okay, so what we need to do is to do that. And a solid block, 2 dust right here. We're gonna need a comparator. We're gonna get our bulb, and this is going to be our main multi-mode toggle bulb, right? So the toggle state of this bulb determines the mode of our brewer. We'll do something like this. So now when multi-mode is on, this will be extended. When multi-mode is off, this will be retracted. So now, even if this is on and then it turns off, boom, this signals to nothing. So this isn't updated and the whole system stays off. Okay, simple. Now we need to do the self-off system. So to do that, we need to take out these take out 2 blocks like this, hook this up to a comparator, subtract here, have this go into another comparator with potions just so it's consistent. And here you want to fill this up till there is 1 slot left. Okay, so now when this fills up to full, this system will turn off by itself. We need something that has a toggle state, like a trapdoor, and then we will observe that. So now when this trapdoor updates like that, it will also toggle our central toggle bulb, right? So we can either hit this, or this will get updated from the comparator. Okay, both of those will turn this off. And optional add-on like this, you can even do this actually. Have this go into a repeater. So once again, when this signal reaches 2, that's when this will be turned on, right? So the locking of the hopper, I don't think is actually that important. This is more just so you get an indicator. So that's your optional indicator add-on. I also, in the end, because for decoration purposes, I want a solid block here, I had to redirect this wire, and I can't use a target block because it would lock this hopper. So I did something like this in the original build, so that I could have a solid block here for decoration purposes. But this is really not necessary. I forgot the multi-brew indicator, so here we need another comparator into this, and then we'll need our lamp. Our lamp will be right here. We'll get our target block, and we'll get our dust. There we go. So now when this is on, this is on. When it's off, you can see it syncs up. When it turns full from the trapdoor, we'll also do the same. And we can now try it out. So let's actually hook up this guy. Well, that would have triggered that, which is not what we want. So let's fix that. Okay, system is primed. I think I need this here. Oh yeah, and over here it's hooked up like this to these modules, which are much simpler. And so yeah, let's try a single brew. Let's take sprint and let's do a single brew. Boom. And here it's on, so this shows the brewer's on. Don't hit the start button again when the brewer's on. The golden carrot will finish, and then the nether wart will fall out of here, which will trigger the whole circuit, drain the potions out, and we're back to square one. And now let's turn on multi-mode. hit the start brew again.
And this time we will see. You can check it out right there in the corner. Because this block is in place,
the fader circuit will activate now, and then when it turns off, it will re-trigger the brew cycle. And now let's fill this up, just for the sake of experimentation. So when these last three are brewed, so this cycle, this
it turns off by itself. So now auto brew mode is on. Oh, and there we go, it's turned off. And it actually shot up 3 more, which shouldn't happen. So
let's try this again. So auto brew mode is on, it's primed. I'm gonna start a single brew. This should work. I don't know why it won't.
Let's see. The system should turn off before the rebrew.
There we go. Yeah, so that's what should happen. So this needs to be on subtract mode. And yeah, it's full, it turns off, there we go. So now if I take these items out, this will auto brew mode turns back on, but no items will rebrew until I hit start again. But of course I can turn it off. So that's it. Hope it makes sense. Hope this was helpful.